Welcome to Curiosity on the Move, where we prove it's never too late to learn something new. I'm Lee, and I'm on a mission to try things I've always wondered about and to take you along for the ride. The world is full of skills, sports, hobbies, and adventures just waiting for curious minds like ours. And here's the bonus: learning new things isn't just fun, it's one of the best ways to keep our brains healthy and engaged as we age. So, whether you're looking for a new passion, a way to meet people, or just want to keep that mental sharpness, you're in the right place. Today, I want to talk about something I never thought I would do. In fact, at the beginning of this year, I had never even heard of it, and it's bungee aerobics. So, aerobics has obviously been around for quite some time, and I think most of us can imagine, 1982, a mom in the living room in leg warmers and a headband following along on a Jane Fonda VHS tape, shag carpet on the floor, music's all synth, and somewhere between all the jazz hands and grapevines, aerobics was born. Here's what's easy to forget. Jane Fonda wasn't just selling a workout. She was selling permission. Permission for women to take up space, to sweat publicly, to treat their bodies as something worth investing in. The aerobics boom wasn't just a fitness trend, it was definitely a cultural moment. At its peak in the mid 80s, an estimated 24 million Americans were doing some form of aerobic exercise regularly. Studios were opening on every corner, instructors became local celebrities. The idea that fitness could have a personality, could be loud and colorful and fun, was genuinely new. It wasn't without its critics. Sports scientists at the time were skeptical. Doctors questioned the high impact choreography. There were concerns about injury, about intensity, whether this counted as real exercise. But what aerobics figured out, and what every successful format since has built on, is that sustainability comes from enjoyment. So the best workout is one you'll actually do again. Kickboxing, spinning, Zumba, jazzercise, step class, all of those, each one found a new population of people who had written off exercise until something finally made them feel like they belonged in the room. So 2010s took that further with the boutique fitness explosions of SoulCycle, Orange Theory, Barry's Boot Camp, all that turning group fitness into something closer to an experience or even an identity. People weren't just working out, they were a part of something. Which brings me to now, into this concept that would have seemed a little science fiction to doing jumping jacks back in the day, but group fitness has gone vertical. People are strapping themselves into bungee harnesses and taking flight. So let me describe what the room actually looks like. One of the things they have you do in advance is tell them your height because the bungee harnesses are adjustable. So you'll go in and can't remember the exact number of them. There may have been 5 or 6 across each row, but there's 3 rows in the room. Like I said, 5 or 6 across, probably 6, and everybody has a harness, and it's you are an assigned spot because they have put it to your height. You strap yourself into this harness, and then you just start bouncing around. It is such a blast. As the class moves on, each step is taught very methodically. Here's how you move this way, here's how you move that way, etc. And then eventually, once those steps are put together, we get it gets timed to music and you go through a whole song doing a whole routine. After that, you move on to the next one and it repeats. Ultimately, after lesson 1, you've learned how to fly. With the knee up, you look very Superman, arms, knee up, arms forward. Then you also do the needle, where your legs are kicked back and your arms are forward. So you are flying, and it sounds just as fun as you can imagine. So the company is Fly High Bungee. You can find their class schedule at flyhighbungee.com. After that second class I took, I was able to sit down with the instructor, Ava Elliott, and ask her a few questions. Before I get into that, I also wanted to know just a little bit about the business. Unfortunately, schedules prevented me from meeting the owner, Erica McKelvey, in person, but she graciously responded to my questions via email. Fly High Bungee Fitness is a franchise, a concept that's been expanding across the country, and Charleston has its own location right here in Mount Pleasant. I asked Erica what running the specific Mount Pleasant location has taught her about the Charleston community. And she said that I grew up in Charleston, so I knew this is where I wanted my first location to be. Mount Pleasant was the ideal location where we could get clients from James Island, downtown, West Ashley, and further north Mount Pleasant. When we first opened, we even had clients driving from Somerville, and that's how the second Fly High location came about. I love the people of Charleston. Fly High has created such a family. Everyone is supportive and looks forward to seeing each other each class. It's very uplifting. So, as she mentioned, there's now a second location in Somerville as well. So, you can definitely get your aerobics fix, not just in Mount Pleasant, but in Somerville. Another question I had for Erica was how the Mount Pleasant Charleston area market responded, and did the concept catch on quickly? And here's what she said about the community that's formed around Fly High. It caught on very quickly. From the first day we opened, we had full classes. It was incredible. It has brought me so much joy to work with my clients on a daily basis and bring them a fun, low impact, and effective workout. So, full classes from day one. That's not nothing. So, what keeps people coming back after that first visit? Well, Erica said the community and the fun is what keeps people coming back. We make sure everyone feels welcome and it's a judgment free zone. You will leave exhausted and sweaty, but you smiled the entire time and thought, wow, that was the most fun workout I've ever done. That is so true. I have to say, on my own experience, that definitely tracks. I have had such a blast. It is fun. You are bouncing people, you are off the walls, you are flying through the air. It is amazing. But I wanted to go a little deeper on what it's actually like to be in that room. And for that, I sat down with one of their instructors, Ava Elliott.
Ready, 3, 2, 1, pivot, launch, step, left, reach, step it.
But my name's Ava. I've been coaching here in June, will be my 2 years coaching here. And then I got into it, honestly, I came on ClassPass, and I really enjoyed the class, and they called me after and asked for an interview and if I'd be interested in coaching.
Did you have any experience beforehand, like gymnastics or just as a yoga instructor, any sort of?
Slightly. I did aerial yoga in college.
Okay.
And I taught, one of my internships my senior year included an aerial yoga and a different bungee. It was more of a swing harness versus how we strap in here. And it was used for more of like a rehabilitation exercise versus a cardio class. So I learned that senior year of college and then found them on a movement like exercise group class site and tried out a class, and I enjoyed it.
How long have they actually been here? Because I didn't learn about this for the first time that it has existed until January of this year and was told it's maybe been around for 2 or 3 years. Do you know when they opened?
My first year, they were hitting their 3 years, so almost 5 years.
Really?
Almost 5 years in this location, and then we just opened in Somerville of this year. So it took a while building process. Now they're fully coaching full classes in Somerville. So 2 official locations of Fly High Bungee.
It's a bit of a hidden gem.
It
Honestly,
is.
I don't know why all of a sudden it started to spread earlier.
Yeah.
At the very beginning of the year, someone was like, we got to go try this. And I'd never heard of it. And I live here.
Yeah.
Pass by this place all the time. Of course, the gym down the street has changed hands 8 million times. Of course, now it's gone.
Core,
it was
Core
like
4.
Core and then Orange Theory and then something else. And so I just never.
I actually coach at Personal Performance. My full-time job is a personal trainer.
Okay.
And I work at Personal Performance on Bowman. So I'm just exercising, coaching all day,
That's great.
which is awesome. But yeah, strength training over there. So this is totally switch of switch of pace.
With the aerobics.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool. So obviously this was only my second time, and I know the way the classes work, you suggest that people do level 1 at least twice before moving on to level 2.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm sure I can speak to my experience about what I've done, but what do you see on a week-to-week basis with all these kind of first-timers?
So here, this was obviously my level 1. Immediately prior was my level 2 class. And so I'll have in level 1, typically I've taught all ages, so your class primarily today was 20s into more adults too. But I mean, I've had everyone from age 7 to really breaking down movements to a 77-year-old woman in the back row and who want to just come and move and bounce. I've had 7-year-olds who barely feel the harness to someone who's looking to use movement and this as a new way of movement to maybe lose weight or add strength. Use this as a cardio to support their body where maybe they can't go for a walk outside, but here they feel safe without falling because they're in a harness. So we've done elderly classes as a private group.
Okay.
And because the harness can be used as a beneficial tool because you're secure and it kind of lifts you, so it's more low impact rather than running or jumping on just flat land. So it kind of boosts you and lifts you up when you use it correctly.
That's nice that seems like it's very accessible to everybody under the sun.
I've taught, we had
really
Kids
important.
Fly last summer, and I led all the Kids Fly classes.
Yeah.
That was more of a handful. But it was a fun handful. But yeah, they loved it. They loved kind of getting the freedom to jump and move to music.
Yeah, it's fun. But is there something that kind of happens, though, in every single first-timer class that you just kind of never get old? Like what's...
Normally, it's a shoe. Normally, there's a shoe that gets lost. This class, we didn't have a shoe get lost. But normally, on the launches, when they land, they'll pull back, and a shoe will come off. So if you're not tying them tight, pretty much it's a, guarantee, there's a shoe somewhere in the classroom.
That's hysterical. I can see that happening, though. I mean, having done it, I can understand how that does. But so when you're in a class like that with a bunch of brand spanking new folks, how do you kind of read that room and adjust for that day's audience? Again, today was a bunch of 20-somethings that are fit, that kind of probably more coordinated, but maybe other folks aren't. So how do you go about that?
So I definitely want to try to cater to all skill levels, all age groups, so that they're getting the most out of the class and that I'm giving them the best coaching material I can for them. So you'll see kind of through my songs that we did today, I'll go for jumping jacks, but then I'll kind of break it down and say you can step out and maybe you don't have to lift up off the ground and just kind of go through a slower, bigger movement rather than short and fast-paced. That tends to help. Same thing like burpee modifications, just going for that squat versus all burpees or just walking out your flies rather than hitting every single beat and flying.
I do appreciate the burpees.
Yes.
I do. They're a lot of fun because real burpees are not.
Burpees are not fun, but the harness kind of makes it like a game. It makes it a little more enjoyable.
It's fun. Oh my gosh. So, but what does bungee aerobics give to people that kind of other group fitness formats don't have?
It definitely gives you the freedom of play. I feel like adults don't really explore or play like you used to as a kid. I agree. It is kind of like a dance class, and you can give it your all. You can take what you want, but it's new. It's a different way of working out, and the bungee kind of lifts you and makes it lower impact, which is awesome for older joints, older bodies that maybe don't want to jump on flat ground or run on flat ground. So the harness kind of boosts you and lifts you, and then add some music, make it fun.
Yeah, awesome. So what do you wish more people knew about before they walked through the door for the first time?
Probably the level of cardio. I think it's maybe viewed as a fun class, which it is. It's very fun, but it's definitely cardio oriented, just from all the running, jumping, and flying.
Okay. And if this has been here for 5 years, obviously it's got some staying power, which is great. What do you know? And I know you're an instructor here. I know you've been teaching, you said, a little over 2 years or right at 2 years. But where do you kind of see this going?
It is a franchise, so it can be bought and open in different locations. So one of our instructors, actually, her family owns the one in Somerville, and they run it. So she was at the Mount Pleasant branch and then opened Somerville.
Were there other things you do here, though? I want to say when I was here back in January, there was like a booth in the corner with a sauna or something.
We did have a sauna, and that was a package you could have. So we operate on a package system, or you can do the drop-ins, and then level 1's on ClassPass. I believe our rebound class is also on ClassPass. But inside of here, we go level 1, where we break everything down, learn all the movements. Level 2, and we add in a few more flies. Instructors can kind of get creative with movements in level 2 and teach how they want to teach class. Level 3, you really build on that, and it goes even faster, throw a few more songs in there. And then we do a boot camp, add some weights, and that rebound class that I mentioned.
So what is the rebound class?
Mini trampolines. Oh, okay. So fun. I think it's 35 or 45 minutes. I've taken one class. But it's a mini trampoline jumping class, and then they have some weights and bands for like Pilates style movements.
But are you still in the harness for the rebound?
No harness, just free on a mini trampoline.
Okay. Well, is there anything else about Fly High Bungee that you'd like to talk about?
I'm very passionate about my level 2 classes.
Yeah.
I love getting creative with the music and the flow of class, playing with different movements, kind of seeing what takes. I feel like I'll go through. I used to teach Mondays and Saturdays. I've jumped around a couple days based on my training schedule at my other job, but I'd kind of treat one day as like a guinea pig day and kind of know what songs would take, and then recycle or reuse whatever would hit or would not hit, because at that point some of the members are coming and want to know what's going on and kind of just run through class, know the songs. And that's when it really feels like dance class. Yeah. And I was not a dancer. I was not a gymnast. But it's kind of fun.
Ready, 3, 2, 1, pivot. Launch, step, left, reaching, kick, step it, back.
I'll have to say that what I keep coming back to in that conversation with Ava is about what she said about what bungee gives people that other formats can't, and that's play. The second time I went to this class, it was a lot younger group. The first time I was there, it was more women my age. Certainly appreciated that for sure. There were some younger ones in the class, but I would say most of them were probably in their 40s and 50s. The second class was the majority were probably all in their 20s. And that, as an older woman, can feel a little intimidating at times. But as soon as those harnesses were strapped on and everybody just started bouncing and giggling and just being so goofy, it was hysterical. These girls were having a blast. I was having a blast. The whole room was just giggling and laughing long before we got started. That play was phenomenal. It definitely can shake something loose in people. The self-consciousness disappears. The effort is obviously very different when you're in that harness. And the results, I think, based on everything I saw in that room and what I have experienced, is that people just leave feeling something they didn't expect. The first class I took at Fly High Bungee Fitness, my friend Carmen just happened to be there at the same time, along with a bunch of her friends and neighbors. And so I thought it would be fun to ask her how she felt about the class.
Ready, 3, 2, 1, pivot.
So, but what did you think it was going to be like before you went in, and then what did it actually turn out to be?
You know, it was funny. This was kind of a substitute for a girls' night out for us. We decided that we needed to kind of substitute some cocktails for something a little more active. So we, I think there were 6 of us that signed up to go into it, and we really just were giggling when we signed up for it and thinking that this was going to be fun, but I don't think I really thought that it was going to be as exercise heavy as it was. We we just thought it would just be a fun morning. But coming out of it, it actually is a really good workout. It is, it's funny that you use muscles that you don't think about, and move your body in ways that you don't normally do. I don't generally bounce around in everyday activity. But so it was, it was actually, it was both fun and funny. And of course, looking back on the videos of it, it is rather funny, all of us. But it was a good workout. I would do it again. I think I need a second time to do it the right way.
Right.
I definitely don't think I did it right the first way. The first
No,
time.
I agree. The first time I went in, I wasn't entirely sure about it, but after my second visit, I think I'm a little more on board with it for sure. It was a blast. It was fun. And I think knowing the movements that day, and now I can move forward, and I feel a lot more comfortable with it for sure.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I did, I was intent on doing it right. And so I was, rather than allowing the bungee to kind of make the movements for me or guide me in the movements, I was kind of thrusting myself, and I ended up with some bruises in some unusual places. But,
So you were feeling a little sore afterwards. What about the next day?
the next day, we all had a group chat discussion about our various aches and pains. Granted, we're also women over 50, so strapping ourselves into bungees and thrusting ourselves at the floor and at walls for a morning is not something we generally do. So we expected something, but we all had a funny group chat going about where we were bruised and where we were hurting, but it was just a fun time.
Good. I'm glad you had a good time though. But was there anything that made you nervous going in that once you got in there was a non-issue?
I think I was most nervous about falling. Honestly, I didn't understand how elastic the bungees were, and so I had watched videos about kind of the I guess it's kind of a push-up movement on the floor, and I had this vision of me falling towards the floor and right on my face, hitting my face or something. But it is really user friendly, especially for first timers. There really are, once you get strapped in, all the fear goes away.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. Pivot.
So, I'm someone who's obviously tried a lot of things for this podcast, and not just for this podcast, but just in general. I love to try new things. I wasn't sure getting into a bungee harness was going to be my moment, but there's a reason full classes showed up on day one and people were driving from Somerville before the second location even existed. This community built itself because the experience earns it. It's so much fun. It's a workout. I was a sweaty mess by the end of it. It was so much fun. As I said in the interview, though, I never thought in my wildest dreams I would say a burpee was fun. But having that weightlessness, getting down on that ground, and you just flung right back up towards the ceiling, it it's indescribable. I'm trying my best because I know this is audio, and trying to give you this visual of what this class is actually like is hard, but it is so amazing. So if you're in the Charleston area and you're curious, and I think you certainly should be, go out and try Fly High Bungee Fitness in Mount Pleasant or their Somerville location. Find out what your body does when you take the floor out from underneath it and launch and fly. So I think you would definitely enjoy it. Thank you so much for spending time with me. And big thank you to Erica McKelvey for answering my questions, and for Ava Elliott for staying after class and talking with me. Big thank you to Carmen for sharing her thoughts. I hope you found them insightful. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with someone who might get something out of it. It definitely means more than you know. I hope I have inspired you to go out and try something new. Fly High Bungee Fitness was something that kind of came out of left field for me. Didn't know it existed. Really glad I found it. Definitely plan on going back, and I hope to see you all out there. I'll see y'all again in 2 weeks. Thanks for listening.